Can you hear that? I woke up this morning and I can hear water running. That's where the noise is coming from. Let's dive in. First of all, we have to remove the cover on the cistern. This is a compact system which is behind a wall. And as you can see, here is the filling valve. We have a problem. The valve feeding into the cistern for the toilet is leaking. So let's try and fix it. First thing we're going to do is mark the parts to make sure we put everything back in the right place. So if you put a black line with a marker, felt tip, on all the parts, as many as you can, you will then know what went where. So let's turn the water off. Here's the valve. We shall turn it like so. And now, as you can see, the valve is now closed. So we can continue to take the valve out. Now that we have isolated the water via this valve here, we can now undo this nut and remove this filling valve. So let's go. If you haven't got one of these in your cistern, then you can always turn the water off on the mains before you do this. Hopefully it will come off without any issues. And there we have it. So to continue, this is removed by lifting up the valve, and this is a slotted part which should lift out like so. As you can see, this has now been lifted out from the slot, and if we remove this from the cistern, we are left with the ball cock. And this bit of plastic here, this is a silencing device, so that when the water runs into the cistern, you don't hear it running in. Let's have a closer look at the filling valve. So as you've just seen, we've just been removing this valve from the toilet cistern. And it's a very basic valve. It has a float, and as the water rises, it activates this plunger and closes the water feed into the valve, therefore stopping the water going into the cistern. This valve, unfortunately, has something that is making it drip and leak all the time. So now we've got it out, we're going to find out what that is. So let's take it apart. First thing to do is we're going to take this part off here, take the float off. This is removed, so we've now removed the float. There it is. There's a lever that goes up and down. Inside the valve, we have this part I'm going to take out. That there is the diaphragm. And what happens is this part here is what is sealing the hole as it travels back and forwards. And I don't know if you can see it, but on here we have a build-up of scale. This here is the seat of the valve, and this seat here is what goes up against here, sealing that hole. So if this part going into here does not seal correctly on that surface, we've got an issue. So what we're going to do is remove the scale that is on here, and you'll see the scale coming off, I would hope. Well, probably not. I'm going to clean it anyway, because it needs it. This is the part that is passing. I can see small deposits on there, but it's not massive. But it doesn't need a a lot on the seat to stop it from working. So I'm going to clean this all up. And I'm going to clean it with a bit of this as well. Why not? So now I have removed any rubbish on that seat. As you can see, it's all nice and clear and smooth, which is what we want it to be, because that will fit into that hole and block it. So let's check out this hole and make sure it's all okay. To do that, we're going to take the float off the top by just pulling this apart. And again, if you want to mark it, just mark this with a marker pen before you remove it, and you'll know how it goes back together. So I'm going to remove this, taking this apart. We've made sure this hole in here is clear, and we've removed any scale from the seat there. And just to show you, there is a hole all the way through there. So let's put it back together. So this part goes back onto here, like so, and it clicks in. And this float lifts up, it blocks that hole there. And just to check it, just blow through. And I can see that sealing very nicely. So let's put the body back together. Put this in there. We'll put this in there, making sure we line up the two little slots there, like so. We'll put the screw this back onto here. Like so. And there's the valve ready to go back. Let's go and give it a go. So here we have the valve. It's now been repaired, cleaned, the scale's gone, and it's ready to go back into the cistern. So let's put it in. So this is where this fits into. It's got a slot. Let's do that now. Fits in there like so, and pushes down so it's nice and tight. And we know it's correct because we marked it earlier. Now we have to reattach the water feed, which is here. Making sure you don't cross thread the fitting because it's only plastic. And then we take a spanner and we tighten that up. So now we have the valve back installed. We're now going to turn the water back on by turning this valve. If you turn it on slowly until the slot is in line with the flow direction, like so. And as you can see, we have water going into the cistern, which is good. Let's see what happens when it fills up, because here is where we had the issue, and we're hoping that this is going to seal nicely when it gets to the top. Let's see. One last check. Time to box it up. To finish it off, we just need to attach the lid. And put in the two screws to hold it down. This one over here. Tighten it down. Job done.